Hello and welcome to Competitive Paupercast, episode 14, Dark Ages. With me is the Dan
Hey.
and the Shuffle of Five, David
Hello.
Schaffer. David,
Tja.
I'm just going to say your name in German every time from now on.
Oh, good. My Jewish roots will approve.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, 1941 to 1945 did not actually happen. Alright, so what you guys been up to? Okay, I'll lead you. Dan, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I was playing the two-ticket Tuesdays again. Been doing a lot of M14. And two-ticket Tuesdays are great, so I recommend them warmly to anyone who can stand M14 sealed.
Cool.
Yeah. As far as what I've been doing, I kind of didn't play 8-mans until Monday. I was out of town. But then I streamed a little bit and played, I think, 4 or 5 8-mans. 4 with the AZ Kitty and 1 with Spy. Spy did not go well. AZ Kitty, I think I'm up like 85 cents, or maybe I'm down now. I don't know. Somewhere I'm around even with them. It's just such a brutal time if you lose first round. Like, I've lost the first one I did, of course, and I knew this would happen. I just knew that round 1 I would play slivers, and so I did and lost. Then I think the next one I got to round 2 and happened to lose, and then I won the next one, and the one after that I lost round 1 to kind of exactly what I thought I'd see, which is like a new weird brew. And it wasn't a bad deck. It was basically just the mono blue deck that has a bunch of counter spells and stuff. But he was playing red also, and one with calcite snappers, which is interesting.
Right.
Regardless, the mono blue matchup is terrible for Azorius Kitty without like train of thought in the sideboard or something. So I pretty much got steamrolled. And then I got my first one land spy turn 1 kill on camera.
Nice.
And then which was sweet. So if you do want to upload that, Dan, I will provide you the ability to do so. And then yesterday I played some more, did a 2-ticket Tuesday, opened a garbage pool, and got second. And
Nice.
then, I only lost to like Colonian Hydra in the last round too. It was very close.
That happened to me too.
Yeah, Colonian Hydra, and then a mold of 5 in game 3.
Right.
And then also yesterday I've been taking Spy to two-mans a lot. It's like the perfect 2-man deck, I feel like, because a lot of people bring Tron and other like weird slower decks, and it just crushes them. And I posted this on Twitter, but it's like the first time I've ever done this in my life. But game 1 I turned one a Boros Kitty player, so he went Chimera Crossroads go, and then I went like I win, and then game 2, but I got to probe him too, so I knew what he was playing, so I could sideboard, which was awesome. And game 2, he's like, is it Ancient Den, the white artifact land?
Yes.
Ancient Den,
Yep.
Glint Hawk, go. And I'm like, kill you. It was awesome. So
Nice.
that's what I've been up to. What about you, Chris?
Oh, just an insane week for me. I drove down to my in-laws' house, taking the dogs with us. My female dog has been pregnant for a while. We knew this, but we didn't think the puppies were going to come until 2 or 3 weeks from now, based on the timing of everything. And as we're going to leave to come drive back up at 6:30 on Sunday night, she decides to start having puppies. And it's a 2.5 hour drive, and so 4 hours later she has all her puppies, and I'm on the road at 10:30 at night to make a 2.5 hour drive back up before Monday, so I can go to work early. It was pretty awesome. So yeah, we had puppies. It was pretty sweet. I played a lot of 8-mans actually, and I keep coming back to Delver because every time I play another deck, I just lose in the first round. So, but my Delver 8-man record is just insane. It's like I am now 6-2 in the first round of Delver of Delver, and that's all that really matters in these 8-mans is that you win the first round. If you win the first round, you're good.
Yeah, you actually make money. You make
Yes.
about $1.
Yes. So, and it always happens. Like I'm always up against Burn in the first round as a Delver player, which is just an absolutely insane matchup. Except when you lose to it in the finals, like I did yesterday.
How did he manage that?
It was a mix of like really, really good plays and one game he landed a Kiln Fiend and turned forward me with Burn while I was tapped out. So that happens, because Kiln Fiend does what it does.
Yeah,
He's Searing Blaze my blocker, and then like did a couple burn spells to my face and Kiln Fiend me, and then game 3 he played really well. So shout out to JD Phoenix because it was one of the best games I've ever seen a Burn player play. He played around the dazes perfectly. He played around the spell stutter perfectly. He was just a very, very good player. So, and yeah, it was the first time I've ever lost in tournament play to a Burn player. So,
Wow.
really good on him. And then I joined another 8-man and I beat Burn in the first round. So,
It should.
yeah, as I should. So, also played Justin's Team League and got crushed by Team DBC. Because
Sounds like that happens every week. Is that?
yeah.
Is that the only team you play against?
Yeah, we played against it last week, and because of the way that everybody else's rounds went, there were four teams in the league, and the other two teams just like didn't show up to round 3. So by default, we were both in the finals.
Nice.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's so I'm pretty sure Justin is not going to be doing another league like that. Matter of fact, I'm about 99.99% sure. I would probably put my entire collection down on it that he's not going to do another team league.
That's really a bummer. It's like now is when I think that it would actually be successful. Like leagues before, are kind of like I'm sure they would have a following, just kind of like how I think PDC Magic has following. It subsists. But there was a time before dailies, really, that like PDC Magic was huge. Like the whole website had like leaderboards and rankings and stuff, and it was like the way you played Pauper. And then we got what we wanted. We got daily events, and PDC Magic got relegated sort of to the side. And now is the time when PDC could really take things back in the proper direction, and that could include a team league that Justin could do too. Because, I mean, the prizes were terrible in the PDC, but I mean,
there was something, right? It was something. It was you're playing for something.
Yeah, you're playing for something, and it wasn't just like a win or die round 1. Like that. 6 tickets really isn't that big of a deal right now, but it's still I still feel like it's just like, wow, I don't know if I want to like put this much on like a coin flip, because I mean I have decks that I auto win against and decks I auto lose against, and then there's decks that I'm like 50-50 against. So it's just really like I'm stepping in, putting $6, and like, let's flip a coin.
Yeah.
That stresses the need for a proper bankroll.
You can't bankroll. We've got some huge players here who are just like actively saying on Twitter, it's, hey, you can't do this anymore. 8-mans are just, it's not feasible to continue playing Magic Online off of 8-mans. Not for free.
It depends what you're playing for, but if you're playing for profit, they're horrible. Just like 2-mans.
Yep.
They're exactly the same EV as 2-mans.
Yeah, Brainstorm Brewery just posted an article showing what you needed basically to make money off of 8-mans. I'll link that to you guys. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah, I'd be curious. I don't do the math. It seems like it should be better than 2-man.
Didn't we do the math last time?
Maybe.
Well, you said you needed about a 56% match win percentage. And this guy agrees, but this guy actually breaks down. He goes over the exact numbers here. So.
Article from Matt Crocker.
Yes. Matt Crocker article.
I guess I don't like. Why do you need that high of win percentage? Because I mean, I guess it's
just what you can do is just take the cost or take your win, what you win on the average, and divide it by the cost and multiply it by 50%.
Yep.
Pretty much.
And the reason you need more than 50% is because packs packs sell for 3.4 tickets instead of 4 tickets. If packs sold for 4 tickets, then a 50% win percentage would give you exactly dead even EV.
Wait, well, I guess I just don't understand, like, because, and maybe this is just good for the listeners and for people like me who are math incompetent, but so like round 1. If you win, you actually make a ticket when pack prices are at 3.5. Like, I understand if pack prices keep decreasing, the numbers change. But at 3.5, you put $6 in, you win. You get 2 packs back. That's
7 tickets.
7.
Yep.
So you make a ticket. So if you are winning at a 50% rate, then, I guess you'd need to, never mind. You need to win, like, 12 packs to make that back, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so...
Yeah, and you got to factor in, too, that even if you're winning... You're only winning that percentage above your entry fee, so... if you lose in that round, though, you lose the 6 tickets, and you have to play... you have to win 6 round 1s to make up for that 1 loss.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, so that is... me being stupid and not good at math. So, if you do, you have to if you lose round 1, you have to win a tournament really to make up for it.
Yes.
Wow,
And that's why it's so rough to do these 8-mans. I mean, I've won 2 8-mans. I've placed in the top 2 in 3 or 4 of them, and
it's really better than a daily, right? If you just want to look at your liquidity, because if you play daily, you only have a 25% chance, if you're an average player, to actually earn anything. Otherwise, you have to play more dailies to make up for it.
Yep.
So your variance will be less in the 8-mans.
I don't know. Variance is way higher in the 8-mans because once again, if you lose that first round, you're down 6 tickets immediately.
Yeah, but you only need to win 1 to earn something. But you can go like 10 dailies without. Easily without getting anything.
Yep, and you can also go 10 8-mans without doing anything because you lose the first round each time.
But if you, I think Dan's saying if you're a 50% player, like you win half your games, it's much less likely you're going to get nothing back in an 8-man than in a daily, because if you could easily just go like 2-2 and 5 dailies in a row.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. But if you played 20 2-mans or 8-mans, I mean, you'd have to win a couple of them in there, and that'd be the same match equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most important point about the 8-mans is that they are negative EV. You lose money on them in the long run, and you don't in the dailies. So that's an enormous difference.
Yep, you have to have with assuming pack prices, this guy did the math, assuming pack prices are, you can sell packs to bots at 3.49, you need a 55% match win to be ahead 5 cents on average per daily, or per 8-man that you play. So you have to win 55% of your matches. By comparison, the 55% number for daily events is you're ahead 3.78 tickets on average.
And actually, as this is exactly the same expected value as a two-man's, if you're thinking only about your expected value, then you really have no reason to play eight-man's, as you have to wait. So it's better to just play two-man's.
Except you get a QP for 8-mans.
Yeah. Okay. If you actually think you can get 15 QPs, then 8-mans has an advantage.
Yeah, my QP count went from like 7 to I'm up to like 16 now, off these 8-mans. So.
But
That
what do
calculate
QPs
down
get
that
you?
the average player.
Say what?
The average player needs to play
What do QPs get you? Dan, I think something's up with your mic. I keep like fading.
It's crappy.
Okay, that's a good explanation. My mic sucks.
If you are an average player, you will have to play. If you want to get into the MOX with 15 QPs, you will have to play 128 mans.
Right.
As you will only get a QP 1/8 of the time.
Okay, that makes sense. But you do get for winning an 8-man, you get 2 QPs as well. So.
You get 2 QPs. I didn't know
Yes,
that.
yes, you do.
Okay. Well, then,
I don't know if that's a change, but that is currently the case. You get 2 QPs for winning the 8-man.
Wow, then 8-mans are a lot better than 2-mans.
Yep. And David, you asked what QPs are good for anymore. There's cube drafts or something. You can pay 15 cube points and you 15 QPs and you enter a cube draft of special cube draft with the promo thing.
And you get packs if you win or something?
I think so. I'm not sure.
It's about the same value as the MOX actually, but more evenly distributed.
Yeah. I'd
So
have
you
to
can't
find
get
the
CT package.
I'd have to find out where that is even because I don't think it's located in the same place. Player rewards maybe? I don't know. I'll
The
come up with it.
information? Because it's never located in the same place.
No, it's really not. It's so depressing. So yeah, well I look for that. What they're doing? Oh, okay. I was about to say if they're doing a promo divination, it's awful.
That would be pretty funny.
What?
No. I saw the promo for December or for November was desertion. I thought it was divination. I'm like, no, don't you dare do that. You get this enough.
Desertion's almost as bad, right? Isn't that like counter target spell? You counter target creature spell, like you gain control of it.
I mean, it was 580 tickets before this.
It was how many tickets?
580.
5.8.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, whatever. I mean, who plays it? Commander people?
Yeah, pretty much, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the counter control magic. You counter any permanent spell and you gain control of it. So, or rather, if it's an artifact or creature, you gain control of it. So, all right, I gotta find that. That's gonna drive me crazy. We'll find out though. So what else is in the news? We have Triple Innistrad coming back. Draft's coming back. Yay, Triple Innistrad. I actually never drafted Triple Innistrad because I came back in Dark Ascension, so it was always Innistrad, Dark Ascension for me.
People speak highly of them.
Yeah.
It's way better than anything we have now.
Well, considering Theros sucks, it's not surprising.
I love that they this tells me that they are well aware that they know Dark Ascension ruined that format. Because I've never really seen them pull back an old format where they have it the way that people preferred it. I mean, they usually just give you back the full block or whatever.
Yeah. So whenever they bring back RTR, triple RTR, or triple Gate Crash, that's what I'm going to be drafting because Dragon's Maze ruined that format for me.
They all sucked, in my opinion.
Oh no, Gate Crash is awesome.
Aside from M14, I haven't enjoyed any draft format since Innistrad. Triple Innistrad.
Yeah. And
I guess M13 was pretty awesome too, actually.
Yeah, you guys liked M13. I didn't like M13. Anyway, Not to let them get away with this, but they are adding a ticket to the cost of the draft. It's now 3 tickets plus product to enter instead of 2 tickets.
What? For the Innistrad drafts or for all drafts?
For the Innistrad drafts.
Okay.
That doesn't make it okay. That's freaking bullshit. Straight up.
Yeah,
It's like
fuck.
they're slapping us in the face, and that's what they're doing.
It's like, sorry, we took your daily events away on a moment's notice. We put a bunch of grinders out of work. We really took away all the ability of content producers who run formats that just do online stuff to produce content. But we'll give you Innistrad back so you can be a little bit happy because we know you all like it. But we're going to charge you 3 tickets instead of 2 because we really are losing money here. So
Yeah. So I tried to call out the people on Twitter about that, asking them, and so far no reply from Mike Turian here. Not really that surprising. So if anybody, I'm sure he doesn't listen to us, but Jesus Christ, man, what the hell is going on? We have no answer yet on the daily events, and they're gonna gouge us on drafts. Sweet.
at least they're giving us 8-4s.
I wonder if that's their justification, because usually when they do retro drafts, it's only available in 4.3.2.2. So it's like, hey guys, we're gonna throw you this here bone.
I would accept that if it was a format with high open value, like Tempest or something. If they gave us Tempest in A4s, because you open uncommons and commons, and you're making bank there. Like I could actually understand, paying an extra ticket for that, because there's a really high probability you're going to open a Wasteland and just like triple your draft value. Yeah. But Innistrad has no money. In fact, right now, from my understanding, is probably the worst time to try to sell Innistrad stuff.
Yes.
So it's just ridiculous.
So I won't be playing Innistrad drafts because I'm not going to feed them. As much as I really want to play the format, I'm not going to be doing it because that's just one more thing where they can keep on justifying gouging us. And maybe CJ's bitterness has infused into me a little bit, but I don't know how much more of this gouging I can take. I can't actually play 8-man successfully. I mean, I've been relatively successful. I've been like pretty even. I think I'm up like 4 tickets for the week. But
even after winning as much as you have?
Yeah. Yeah. So I started off the week with 101 tickets, and I'm up to like 105. So there you go.
All right.
That was with me, like, I'm amassing 16 QPs. So there you go. This is crap. I can't actually win. Like
so you're saying you're up 4 tickets and the cube draft.
Yes, and a cube draft. You're right.
Sweep cube draft.
I still haven't found out where I can actually like what the cube draft thing is.
You'll probably go and you have to have like 37 QPs just to enter.
That would be ridiculous, and I would be very upset.
Well, if Worth didn't lie, there will be an announcement, like before the end of the year, about when there will be another announcement, right?
Yeah, hopefully. So far, no announcements, though.
No, that's way too early for announcements.
Yeah.
I guess I have a mild announcement to make, too, just for people unaware. So for those who, like, follow the What's Happening page a lot, Wizards has continued to give us daily event information, except now it's 2 random 8-man information. So
that's so bad.
Yeah, if you happen to stop...
It's so stupid.
Stop looking at this page, now you can go there and get some totally useless information. Because they... at first I was like, all right, like, these sort of resemble the meta before, okay. But they give you one day... they give you one 8-man, and it'll have, like, the winner, second place, third, and fourth place. And then they'll give you another one. And you realize, once I saw this, like, weird goblins list that won the first round with, like, it was a very bad goblins list. I'm not afraid to say it. And and I'm very open-minded about that stuff. Very. But this was a bad goblins list. And once I saw that was there, I was just like, really the third and fourth winners, all you have to do is win one match. And if you have just like happen to draw the match that's like perfect for your deck, you can win with anything. And so the only information that might be of some value is whoever like won the tournament and maybe got second, because they had to actually beat 2 people. So like each day we possibly get the results of 4 players randomly. So I don't really advise using it, but if you're bored, it's there.
I was convinced they would present like 20 winners or something, like 20 trio decks. This is extremely pointless.
Yeah. The moral of the story is it's impossible to form a meta from what you see in the 8-mans.
Yep.
What have you been experiencing in the 8-mans, David? What kind of decks you been seeing?
So it goes off last week what you guys were saying. Like I was like, I don't think you'll see that much Delver, but you do. I was wrong, just hands down wrong, totally, completely wrong. I've played against a lot of Delver because I think a lot of people are in your boat, Chris, where they're like, Delver has free wins, very few like auto losses, and pretty good game against everything else. So I feel like there's like 3 camps, and this is sort of my article. So if you want to learn more, you can go to it when I post it today or tomorrow. But there's like 3 camps. There's like Delver, Mono Black, and Other is the way I view it. And like, because Delver and Mono Black are the 2 decks that really handle the Other well. Delver's the best at handling the Other well, but Mono Black can also beat Delver. So it's also a good choice. And then the Other is just like, you got your Slivers, you got your blue-red counterspell deck. What else have I played against in those? Mostly it's been Delver. In almost every round I've played. Which is fine, I don't usually have an issue beating Delver, but it's still, obviously Delver's good, and so they can beat me. So if that happens in round 1, it's very miserable.
Yeah. What I found is you have to play. Well, for me, I have to play Delver because I just lose anything if I play anything else. So, like I played some Mono Black Control, and I came up against Mono Black Mirror, and he drew more merchants than I did, so he won. And that's. And then I tried playing Tron a few times, and the one time I played Tron, and I lost in round 1 to Burn. And I was like, you know what, this is never happening again. So I played Delver. And that's usually what's happening to me. It's like I have to play Delver to make sure that the bad decks don't beat me, and it's really frustrating because when I played before in daily events, it's okay to lose 1 round to a bad deck because you have 3 more rounds to make up for that. And
yeah.
These 8-mans are just unforgiving. They're just completely unforgiving. You have to win the first round, or else you're just straight up losing. I know that sounds very obvious and intuitive, but it becomes so important to win the first round now. That's everything. If you can't win the first round, if you can't beat Burn in game 1, you can't play the deck because there's so many Burn decks running around right now. And I don't know why, with how many people are playing Delver.
Well, I mean that's something I think about with the Other. Like when you look at the Other section of what's going on, it's composed of like people who used to play dailies but now need to increase their win percentage, so they need to play a deck that's like objectively powerful, more powerful than their skill level will allow. You also have some grinders who are like multi-queuing and wanting to play very linear decks, and you have players who never could play daily events before because they just didn't have the time, and so now they have a more liquid schedule with these 8-mans. And so you're getting these players who are going to play your Burn, your Kiln Fiend, your maybe Infects, stuff like that, because this is like, those decks are just like, they're very linear, very easy to play, but have a pretty good ceiling, so you probably can win with them, you know? So I think you're going to see a lot of those style of decks, which is why I think Tron is a terrible choice. And
awful.
And I don't really like Affinity. I did play against an Affinity deck too once, I will say that. Affinity's like generally one of those decks that's got like a good matchup against a lot of stuff, but if I'm an Affinity player, I probably don't want to see Kiln Fiend on the other side of me, because I need to Gouth Blast it. There's nothing else I can really do. And I don't want to see Lightning Bolts on the other side of me, because I think historically Burn outraces Affinity. So, and that's the same with Tron. I don't want to see Kiln Fiends or Burn on the other side of me, and you're going to see a lot of that just because of the way this is. That's why I thought actually last week that you wouldn't see that much Delver, but it makes sense that when you do see decks like that, those Burns and Kiln Fiends, that you're going to see Delver, because that has a very good win percentage against those. So,
yeah, definitely.
That sounds like I can play Trinket again.
I don't think I would advise it, because I keep running into Affinity.
You just said there were plenty of Delver and Delver Fiend and even Infect.
Yeah, but there's also lots of Burn and Affinity running around, so...
I would say
I don't think
you should do it, if you're going to do it, wait a little bit on it, because I guess I feel like the reason why we still see Affinity and Tron in there is because they're sort of like, and I'm pretty much saying my whole article right now, but the reason why we see those decks still is because they were big meta staples before. You know, like they were like they were like, you know, Delver was probably 1, Mono Black was number 2, but then it was shortly thereafter Affinity and Tron. And people are like, you know, these decks were good 2 weeks ago. How could they be bad now? But I think that they are bad now, and people are going to have to figure that out. So once those players get burned to the face enough, I think they'll realize that it's Affinity and Tron are bad, and then I think it's better for you to bring Trinket in.
Yeah.
Because you're probably still going to lose to Burn, right?
45-55.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last daily I scored, I beat 2.
I saw that. Those were ridiculous. You got pretty lucky. You have to admit there.
Yeah, but still we have a huge sample size, so we know it's 45-55.
So, but once again, if you're 45-55, you're losing EV here.
Depending on how big Burn is in the metagame, for the other fast things are no danger.
Yeah, and this is why I keep on playing Delver. I just want to hate Burn out of the meta. That's what I want to do. And so I'm going to play Delver until that happens. I think I said this last week too.
I guess my point is I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, you're probably right. But we did it before. It happened before when Temporal Fissure was in the format, so I think it can happen.
It rotates in and out, doesn't it? Burn is like herpes, it comes back.
Yes.
Then it goes away.
Yep. So
but it's a good like miser deck, I guess. I guess I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like when I used to play 2-mans and I'd be a Fissure deck, someone would just bring in Infect. Like I played against Infect at like such a higher rate in 2-mans than I ever did in dailies. And I think it's because players, you know, all you have to do is just like win that one match, just surprise them, catch someone totally off guard who's not prepared for what's going on, and you don't need to be good. You just have to like throw a few pump spells on a 1/1. And I feel like that's how this is, where players are like, you know, all I really have to do is win the first round, and if I do that, I'm golden. And so I'll just like throw a bunch of like Burn at their face before they have a chance to do anything, or Kiln Fiend them on turn 3 so that they don't have a chance to play. Just mise them that way. So I just don't think that those decks are going to really go away, because players who are under the 56% win percentage really need to take a deck that's going to push them up over that.
Yeah. Or just let them win the first round.
Yeah. But I mean, I would play Delver. I'm not saying you should stop. I just don't think you're ever going to stop playing Delver. That's my point.
You know, I was at a point there where I was like just moving away from it in daily events because it was just not that fun anymore, and I liked the meta right after the bannings where I could play mid-range and interactive decks, and I could play Azorius Kitty and 2/2, and I wouldn't feel bad about that, right? Didn't matter to me because I actually had fun playing this type of a deck. Or I played Tron and I 2/2'd, and I was like, you know what? I lost to a bad draw, or I lost to my own play mistakes. I liked that, you know? I did not like losing to a turn 2 mutagenic growth Glistener Elf. That ticked me off. I did not like losing to Lightning Bolt on turn 4. And that ticked me off. So, that's the meta that I liked.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it exists anymore.
Yeah, it's sad. But I guess I'm just gonna keep on playing Delver till I get that meta back and people. So there you go. What else is in the news? We have some.
You're a writer for Pure MTGO, right?
Oh yeah, I am, aren't I? I guess so. Yeah, I'm doing a weekly series. It was supposed to be a daily event series, but not so much anymore. For Pure MTGO, and what it basically is I'm just gonna go over the videos, my thoughts on the decks that I do, and the videos that I make for the channel, for the YouTube channel. And this week I covered playing Greedy Tron, as I like to call it, because Justin is way better at naming decks than most people. So I'll go ahead and link that too. It was pretty nice. And I won't be playing Greedy Tron anymore, but I will be trying to do different decks every week than just Delver. Maybe one week I'll do Delver, but not this week. And hey,
What will it be this week? Or next week?
I'm not sure yet. I think it's gonna end up being Tricks because I'm working on that deck again. Loser Tricks.
Nice.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that would be a pretty good call now because it's got about the same game. It's better game against Mono Black, right, than Delver, and
yes,
better against Delver, but it still retains the attributes of a deck capable of beating the Burns and the Kiln Fiends.
Yeah, it's a solid deck. It is a little bit weaker than Delver in that it doesn't just like auto win with the nut draw. You still have to actually like fight for your wins there. You know, there's no turn 2 ninja backed up by Daze and Spellstutter sprites until the end of time while you're drawing a million cards a turn. But it's solid. You get bigger dudes that your opponents have to deal with. That's basically what you're trading off. You're trading off like little fairy pingers for creatures that your opponents have to deal with, like bigger creatures. So it still has an awful matchup against Stompy and Delvers, and we're still working on that. But
oh, it does have a bad Delver matchup?
Slivers and Stompy.
Oh, I see. Oh, I misheard you.
I think it's actually a worse matchup against those two decks than Delver does.
How is Kiln Fiend?
Kiln Fiend. Well, it just depends. There's no.
Should be worse too, right?
Yeah.
Without Spellstutter Sprite.
Yeah, without Spellstutter Sprite, it's a little bit worse. But it's not that much worse. You still get to have 4 Hydroblast coming out of the sideboard for it, and counter spells for the major creatures along with Vapor Snags. Turns out Kiln Fiend decks hate bounce and counter spells, so you can win.
You might want to. I mean, you guys haven't been playing Quicksand, and I sort of feel like now might be a pretty good time for that card. And I don't think it'd hurt your mana base too much.
I think the problem with Quicksand there is that the Fathom Seers have to bounce islands. So, one of the things I do is I usually wait till turn 4 if I miss a land drop, and then I'll play the Fathom Seer and bounce the island, and then have Vapor Snag back up for it after I replay the island and draw a bunch of cards off Fathom Seer.
You'd still be able to do that if you had Quicksand out.
Fathom Seer has to. Well, I guess you're all right. We'll check it out. Maybe I'll just replace 2 islands of quicksands and see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like the perfect idea, but I would want access to some way to handle kiln fiends right now. I guess is all I'm trying to say. Um, that's colorless.
All right, I'll have to note that. Where is it? So, find my tricks spreadsheet. There it is.
I wouldn't even mind having one just like in the sideboard because there's got to be some tricks matchup where you wouldn't mind an extra land anyways. Like I used to run Bajuka Bog and Blue Green Fissure Post mostly because against Blue Red Teachings, I just wanted another land, and I was taking out 4 of something like 4 Explorer to bring in 3 Deep Analysis and a Bajuka Bog or something like that.
Okay.
So sometimes you just want that extra land anyways for whatever your matchup is. And if that's Quicksand, then you can also sort of use it for killing fiend decks.
I don't think I've ever really wanted extra land from tricks, but you know, with Mole Drifters in the sideboard, that might be a good idea. So, all right, yeah, let's I'll put that in the show notes. Well, I'm not gonna put that in the show notes. I'll put it somewhere where I can remember to do that. Maybe I'll make it like a stupid thing. Tricks. There you go. Add quicksand. Done. I made a note in my tricks spreadsheet thing. Okay, so other news. Player run events. We talked about this a little bit before, but player run events are the place to be now. The only place you guys are going to be able to play Swiss. There's a weekly player run event run by Gathering called Pauper Classic Tuesdays. It's usually ran by a guy named Long Time Gone. He's a very good organizer. He also happens to play in the events. I don't know if he gets any prize payout or whatever from that, but he plays in the events and he runs them very smoothly, and he's very forgiving about if you're late to a round or whatever. He's really forgiving. It's a good experience to play in the Pauper Classic Tuesdays. So there's that happens every week on Gathering. We also have another player run event by J Siri and Team DBC called the Pauper Battle Royale, which I've included in the show notes here. And the more people join this, the better for the prize structure, because if we have 33 players, then we get the payout of first place gets 12 boosters, second place 9, third and fourth place 6 boosters, and fifth place 3 boosters. So excellent payout. It's a free event to join. By all means, contact these guys and join this stuff. I'm definitely going to be joining because it's the only time I'm going to get value out of Magic Online until.
How often does it run?
This is, I think, this is just a one-time thing.
Okay.
It's just for this one time.
I imagine if it goes well, they'll do it again, though.
Yeah. So join, by all means. It's free money, and you are going to be swimming with the sharks here because Team DBC is some of the best Pauper players out there. But hey, you know what? You might get to have fun anyway. So join.
Yeah, and who cares? I mean, it's if you paying nothing down, and you have a chance at winning.
Sounds good.
Who cares if it's a hard competition?
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot better prices than the Gathering one.
Oh yes, Gathering. I think you get I think it's flat rates on first through 8th places on Gathering.
Yeah, I think I won it, and I got 7 ticks.
Yeah.
And you can't charge for tournaments, right? So
Exactly.
their model's kind of unsustainable for legal issues. Is that right?
Yes.
That's a bummer. Because I bet they would do it every week if they didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah. But hey, these are MTGO grinders, so these are the guys who have 1,000 tickets and back stock of stuff. So it doesn't really hurt them to run one of these every once in a while. So I'm definitely joining. Probably playing Delver, I think, just for consistency's sake. So join that, and I have another article here about basically the state of MTGO. I'm not going to go over it too much, but this is from a programmer And one of the things I've learned in the past week or two is that this whole fiasco with Magic Online is really bringing out some excellent articles. Some excellent writers are contributing, and so pay attention to Twitter, what people share, follow as many people as you can, and you'll find some insanely good reads here, like about this whole version 2 fiasco that happened with MTGO. I didn't know about any of the history of that, so that was really fun to read about.
Oh, I think I
There's
looked up
been
this
some
article.
horrible fiascos before.
Yeah.
This is
Such
the
as
this is the
leaks
coach-
never coming back.
Oh yeah.
Yes, leagues are never coming back. We've all given up on that, and it's like, do we do that with? Is that going to happen to daily events too? Are those going to be a thing in the past too? Or it's like, I remember back in the day, we used to play these things with awesome EV called daily events.
I hope
It's,
not.
it's a real risk.
Now that I've played in events that I don't have to lose money on for this game, I'm at a point where it's like I just don't really ever want to go back to having to pay for Magic at a considerable rate. Like, sure, I don't mind like having to put in like a little cash now and then if I want to like draft something heavily without hurting my stocks, but it's just kind of like I don't really want to get back to a point where I have to put in $20 a week, or I'm like living off my draft stuff, as I'm sure we all have been at some point. But if we don't ever get positive EV back, eventually I'll be back there.
Yeah.
And I might just quit.
But look at Paper. Paper doesn't have any positive EV tournaments as far as I know.
Yeah, they do. It's called Friday Night Magic. Friday Night Magic is... it's not positive EV necessarily, but what it is free wins because everybody who plays at Friday Night Magic sucks.
Oh, way to
How much do you
just
pay
insult
for
half
Friday
our
Night Magic?
community.
Say what?
It's a way to insult half of our listeners.
How much do you pay for Friday Night Magic?
I think it's $5.
How much do you win?
Depends on your placing, but I know the last time I went to a Friday Night Magic, I won like 13 packs because I won the Friday Night Magic. So I think they pay out to top 4, depending on the size, maybe top 8.
Yeah.
Okay, I take that back. Not everybody who plays Friday Night Magic sucks, but
I wasn't being serious, but
but let's be honest here. Most of them suck. Most of them are playing awful decks. Don't know the rules. You do get like really good people, and you have the Friday Night Magic sharks, I guess, the quote unquote sharks, who they're playing Supreme Verdicts and Sphinx's Revelations instead of Divination. But for the most part, like Friday Night Magic is really easy, and that's maybe what I'll have to do is if we don't get positive EV stuff back, I'll just sell off my collection, buy a standard deck, and just tear apart Friday Night Magic.
And you can be the Friday Night Magic shark.
Yeah. Be the Friday Night Magic shark. Play my Delver deck. Wait, that doesn't work, does it? Friday Night Magic is always standard. Ugh.
Unless you're in Brazil or Poland.
Yeah. What do they do? All right, so I've been hearing a lot of Brazil references here. What's going on with Brazil?
They play Paper Pauper.
Okay. But I heard like Brazil lost its grinder, or lost one of its main sources of income.
What?
that's just I've seen that too. I think that's just like saying that there's several grinders there who it must be just the case that grinding actually provides you enough money to to do pretty well. Like I saw X Mimics X talk about like minimum wage in Poland, where he's from, and those of you who don't know, he used to, I don't know if he still does, but he used to play a lot of Pauper Delver, and so I was looking at what he had to say, and I guess like minimum wage in Poland for like a McDonald's worker is like roughly $4.50 an hour, and so you can like double that by grinding. And how that impacts Brazil is I think that Brazil just has a large amount of grinders. Like I think that's where that Batutina guy is from. Don't quote me on that, but
Yeah.
I think that's where he's from, and several other notable grinders are Brazilian. So I think that's where it comes from.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes way more sense now.
Yeah, and so wages lower or something to make it funny, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They should probably move to poker instead of Magic then.
No,
But you lose faster at poker.
No, I think you can make a profit like the one you can do grinding Magic pretty easily at poker. If you're that skilled at Magic, you can be that skilled at poker as well.
Possibly.
that's probably true. My issue is just that I think poker's like a way worse game. It's so boring.
It's extremely repetitive.
Yeah. So you did poker for a while, Dan. I know, and I've done poker too. I actually like poker, but I do hit a poker limit myself.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and close this out. I think.
No.
No. Okay.
No, I wanted to talk a bit about finance.
Oh yeah. Hey, we skipped that, didn't we? Let's do that.
Because we are in uncharted territory here. It's back in the version 2 fiasco, I think there was a huge crash on prices, and sort of the crash is happening, but now it's been turning back up for the standard cards. It's probably only temporary, and I am publishing an article next week about when to buy into Theros, and unless daily events return, the right time to buy in is probably 2 weeks before daily events return. But if they don't return, or if they return very shortly, then the right time is probably June.
Jeez.
But
June?
yeah, the Theros should have its lowest price in June and not in mid-December like I thought before.
Okay.
So I looked into some figures for older fall sets.
And this is
And the way
assuming we
Theros will
just
be drafted means that its lowest price will be in June.
Okay.
I see.
Also, Brainstorm Brewery has had a lot of good articles, and one that really caught my attention was Rare is the New Uncommon by a guy called Anthony Capiz. Because the growth of Magic Online has been so huge lately that a Rare from Theros is about as common as an uncommon from Scars of Mirrodin.
I believe. I mean, that seems great.
The
Right
growth
on.
is so huge that, and the modern demand is probably not increasing on the same level. Even if it does, if the growth stops, we might be flooded with Theros cards. So it is possible that Theros will not show you this characteristic of like older fall sets, that this might actually be, say that growth stops now because of this daily event fiasco, and then Theros will have no value, that it will be the cheapest set ever on the secondary market. So given all these uncertainties at this point, I can't recommend anyone to speculate on Magic Online really. So, and especially not try to buy in now, because there's been like a crash. So if you need playsets, buy them now, and you probably do it correctly. But speculating now has a lot higher risk than it had just a month ago.
Yeah, which is saying a lot because Magic Online speculating is, pennies on the dollar compared to real life speculations.
No, absolutely not. The return you get on Magic Online speculating is a lot higher you can get on any other financial instrument almost.
Yeah, but you have to you lose the gouge on the bots, right? You lose the rake. You lose to the rake on the bots on Magic Online a lot.
Yeah, but you should take that into consideration. I still think it's pretty good, but not when things like this happen. So the risk is high, and now it's even higher. Having said that, I think Eternal cards is the way to go if you want to speculate now. That these modern cards and pauper cards are dropping, but they should not drop as much as standard cards, and they're like dropping because standard cards are dropping. So, for example, you can get most of the affinity lands for 15 cents right now. You can get thought casts pretty cheaply. I don't see Wizards reprinting the artifact lands anytime soon. And there will probably be a point where affinity is dominant in the metagame again, and people will be needing artifact lands. So getting 200-300% of those in a year or two seems very reasonable.
Okay.
So I got a question for you.
Yes.
Pyroblast. Buy it now, buy it later. I somehow no longer have any of them. I used to have 4. They vanished. So when do I buy them?
Check the Goldfish graph. Pyroblast is not there because they don't have the Master Edition cards. But for all other cards, that's good advice. Let's check the price of Pyroblast.
What do you
They're
think?
4.05, I think.
Oh, it's a horrible time to buy them.
It is a horrible time to buy them?
Yes, they're at their top value and probably only going down.
Bummer. I really want them now.
Yeah, but if you want them now, buy them.
I'll let you borrow mine, David.
or borrow Chris's.
Yeah, they're better in one land spy than duress because usually Delver players just leave up room for 1 counterspell.
Yeah.
So you can, tap out for like a ritual, and then they try to counter you, and you Simian Spirit Guide Pyroblast, and then you can fight through it. Whereas if you duress them and they have just like 4 counterspells in hand, or spell stutter, you're just like, oh, I guess I lose anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely let you borrow my Pyroblast. I've been holding on to them. I was waiting for an opportune time to sell them, like if they ever came back up to 5 or something. But that doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. Although the price crash has really just not affected Pauper that much, from what I've seen. Is that right, Dan? Like Pauper and...
possibly the affinity cards, but then affinity did lose in popularity, and that might reflect that and not the crash.
Yeah, that's true too. That may be totally unimpacted by the crash, like have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and I think it has something to do with...
It should be affected by the crash, but not as much as standard.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with like what CJ was saying, is that people aren't playing Pauper for for the value of it. They're playing Pauper because they like the format more so than standard, at the very least.
Value when the daily events were there.
Yep. So you have
there are also a lot of really cheap modern cards right now, and they will be worth a lot more in the summer when modern PTQ season is around. So probably the best speculations right now are modern cards.
All right.
Okay,
like which?
That's enough finance.
All right. Really? Huh. I'm looking at modern stuff right now. I guess Junk took over Jund as like the top deck. What is this? Oh, Pod. Okay.
No, right, because the metagame reports are all screwed up, just like Pauper.
So sad. Okay. Now we'll move to closing it out. Now that we have Dan's permission to close it out. Do we have your permission to close it out, Dan?
I will have better audio next week. I'm
Okay.
getting a new fat gaming computer tomorrow.
Awesome. That's pretty sweet. All right. So how can we get in contact with you guys? Dan?
You can reach me at YouTube at Magic Gathering Strat, or on Twitter at Magic Gas Strat, or on mtgostrat.com.
Hey, cool. And David?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at ShafoWafa5. You can catch me on Twitch whenever I have a chance to stream. Just twitch.tv/ShafoWafa5. Or you can read my articles. I do the Thoughtcast series at mtgostrat.com.
All right.
It's great.
It is.
Oh, thank you.
Thoughtcast is a very good series. I read it every week. I'm Chris. You can reach me at cweaver8518 on Twitter. On MTGO, I am cweaver, and you can contact me there anytime. Feel free to leave me comments, feedback, anything special, what you'd like to see on the show, what you'd like to hear us talk about. Looking for suggestions now here. We will usually accommodate what you guys want to listen to. So, until next time, this has been Competitive Paupercast.